Hi there, and welcome back to another CFD cookie with paraview, and we're working with Streamlines in this cut plane. So we already covered many tricks in the previous videos. Now we have done 2 videos so go back and check some basic techniques. So here, let me show you another technique how to release string slides in this cut plane, but also to constrain those string slides to this cut plane. So probably this is the most advanced one. So here I already have my pipeline. So I read my data and so on. So I read my data. Okay. So usually I like to read in cell-center and site format. I think it's the most efficient. So now get the cell data to point data to have everything. And then I extract my blocks, internal mesh. I get the slides there. And then I have the pipe data, not the walls, just because I wanted to have it. We're going to work here. So the other technique is that, and look at that, let me plot here my mesh. And basically what we can do is that we can release the string slides from each of the cell centers or node centers. Okay, it can be done. Okay, so I will show you how to do it, but be careful that this can be dangerous in the sense that if you have too many cell centers, it might crash your computer because it will use a lot of memory to post-process all that stuff. So be careful about that. But there is another technique to avoid that. So you can put a mask, and that mask, it will reduce the number of points from where you're going to release, and well, it will work much better. That mask can be used in the previous videos. Now that the one that we use the polyline here, the button, so you can put that mask and then release the string lines for a given quantity of points. So I will show you that how to do that here. So basically the first thing is that go here, you select your slice here, filters, and the filter that we want to apply is this one. It's still the same one that we used previous video, a string tracer with custom source. And here basically what we want to do is release the string slides from this slice, but also use the same slice to plot those string slides. So you can select both of them, it's perfectly valid. Click OK. As I mentioned, be careful that if you have a very large mesh, this can be very expensive. Be careful here also, select the velocity. Okay, I want the velocity, the race leave it untouched, or you can let me hide that one so you don't get confused with the advanced option. Apply, and there you go. So as you can see, you have the string slide released now from the mesh. Okay, these string slides, I know that they are not perfectly constrained to that plane, and that can be enforced. And to enforce that, let me select the advanced option. See that you have this option, surface string line selected, and now you are enforcing. In the previous video, this is you didn't have that option because you are releasing from a line, so you don't have it. But now if you select surfaces, you can force to constrain everything to that surface. And there you go. So now let me change to velocity, and you have all your string lines. You want, you can increase this one to cover to get more. That's it. Okay, we have it there. As you see, very straightforward, very easy. But the issue is that, okay, but I have too many string lines. I only want to release from a few of them. So let's see how to do that. Okay. By the way, I also invite you just to read all the options, all this stuff that you have there. Remember that you can also use the tubes here. Okay, so it should be here, so you can plot everything as a tube, and so it's much nicer. And then you can put there the glyph. Okay, and let me just put 100 glyph there. And those I want to use comms there. And let me put velocity, and don't see it also because I need to use orientation. I don't want scaling. Apply, and let me put there 0.5. Okay, so now 0.05, and there you go. And probably I don't see much, so put white, and this is it. Okay, so let's see that there are too many of them, how we can control that. So let me erase that string tracer, put it here. So the idea now is that we need to use a new filter. Okay, so if you go here, let me search, it's called mask. Okay, you have it also in the alphabetical. So see that put here, reduce the number of points. Okay, you have the help there. Let's use that and apply. You don't see anything because you need to select points. So this is where you go here, select point Gaussian, and basically this is the mask you're applying. So see that now you reduce to this number of vertex, and now you are going to reduce this. You can imagine this can be controlled. You already see here. So you select, let me deselect the advanced, so standard option. So you can say, okay, I want to see only 100 points, and you have it there. Probably they are not well distributed, so there are ways to control that. You select advanced options, so let me go advanced options, and see here that you have many more options. As you saw, you have the tooltip, hover on the cell, and you will get a short description, but I need to select the random distribution and see that now you have it there. You have different options there. Let me select this one, and I will stay with this one, but it's up to you. Let me put 200 and see that now we have these 200 points, and you can release your Streamlines from those points. So it's a random. Also, you can select there. I like to select those to enforce now to the nodes on one single point per cell. And this is it. So now that you have this one, you can release your Streamlines from here, and you can constrain everything to this size. Okay, so let me put it here. So we have this. So it's very straightforward. You go back alphabetical, you have it here. So input is this one, seed source, from where you are releasing those Streamlines from here, mask points. Apply as usual, select you. I'm happy with that, and there you go. Okay, you have your lines there, put it there. I can hide now, or let me leave, I will leave that. And if I change this to 100, now see that it will update dynamically. 20. So see that's quite easy to play with this. So you can change different options, and yeah, 50 since probably let me go 80. And there you go. I'm happy with this one. You have your string size there. Well, I'm not happy with that. Let me put 100 and let me put 1 there. Yeah, I'm much happy with this. And this is it. Okay, so there you go. Another technique how to control scenes. Let me hide the mask. And as you saw, you can go to the Streamlines, or let's do it like this. Let me go alphabetical. Let me select the tube. Remember that you can do it also in the Streamlines. So scalars. Okay, this is independent. This doesn't matter. I want you put it there. Apply. Let me reduce. Let me put here to make it nicer, 16 sizes, 0.02, and I want velocity there, and there you go. And what else? Okay, and let me put the glyph there. I want the comms. I want orientation. I don't want scaling, and I want a 0.1. This is it. Okay, and I can put here, let me put 200, and let me put color there, and this is it. You have your Streamlines. Nice. By the way, I forgot here, let me go here, I forgot this. I need to constrain it. So in this case it's working, but there might be some cases that you do it doesn't work, you don't see anything because you are not constraining to the surface. So select surface constraint, and there you go. And this is it. Okay, so this is the other technique how I do it. So it's very flexible. And actually, let me go back to this slide. So this is stuff that you see here where I'm releasing from the wind, and I use that technique. Now I have the surface, and I put a mask there to just release from a given point, set of points. So at this point, I think I cover the question, how do I constrain that to plane? So this plane can be, in any direction. It's up to you to change the orientation. As I say, probably it's too easy as a case, so later let me show you that airplane in another tutorial. But yeah, there is some other stuff that I'm going to cover, because what is interesting that let's apply this technique to constrain. In this case, we're constraining this internal plane. But what about if I want to do it and constrain those Streamlines in the wall? And at the walls, I need the velocity field Okay, I have the Wolřej traces, I will use it, but what if I want the velocity field? So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so see you next time. Bye.